Some animals can sleep with one eye open, and this is not just a figure of speech. Dolphins and many birds have a unique ability. One half of their brain rests while the other stays alert. This is called unihemispheric sleep. This allows a dolphin to sleep while remaining at the water's surface and breathing, and a bird to doze on a branch without falling. Ducks even alternate which eye to keep open to watch for predators. This way of resting is a brilliant invention of nature, combining relaxation with safety. While one part of the brain dreams, the other keeps watch over life. The balance between rest and vigilance is a true art of survival. Octopuses are true aliens underwater, as they have 3 hearts and 9 brains. The central brain controls the body, while the 8 smaller ones manage each tentacle independently. This allows each arm to act almost autonomously, making the octopus one of the most agile and intelligent creatures on the planet. Their blood is blue due to copper rather than iron like ours, and they can change the color of their skin in a fraction of a second. Scientists believe that octopuses are the best candidates for the role of intelligent beings of the ocean. If there were an Academy of Sciences underwater, these slippery geniuses would surely be teaching biology and camouflage there. There is a lake in the world that changes color like a chameleon. This is Lake Natron in Tanzania. Depending on the season and the salt levels, the water can turn crimson, orange, or pinkish lavender. But the beauty is deceptive. The lake is so alkaline that it can preserve animals that accidentally end up there. The high concentration of minerals turns their bodies into stone-like figurines. It sounds eerie, but it looks mesmerizing. The water reflects the sky like a liquid mirror from another world. This place seems to have stepped out of the pages of a myth, beautiful and dangerous at the same time. Some buildings can stay cool without air conditioning, and it's not magic but engineering. Architects use special technologies, reflective coatings, green roofs, and ventilation channels that create natural air circulation. In hot countries, these homes are cooled by the shade of plants and the reflection of sunlight. Even ancient builders understood this principle. In Persia, they constructed wind catchers that lowered indoor temperatures. Modern smart buildings draw on this experience to save energy. Thus, architecture is returning to nature, proving that coolness can be achieved not just by a button, but by intellect. Some frogs can survive winter by completely freezing and then coming back to life. They become encased in ice, their hearts stop, and their breathing ceases. But in spring, they simply thaw out and resume life as if nothing happened. Their secret lies in special substances in their blood that act as a natural antifreeze, protecting their cells from damage. Scientists are fascinated by this mechanism and are even studying it for potential applications in medicine, such as organ cryopreservation. Nature has once again demonstrated that its inventions are more brilliant than any technology. To freeze and not die, but simply wait for spring. If you love the smell of rain, know that this aroma has a name. It's called petrichor. It is created by oils that plants release into the soil during dry spells. When raindrops hit the ground, they lift tiny particles of these oils mixed with ozone into the air, giving rise to that magical scent of freshness. Scientists have found that people can detect petrichor even at a concentration of 1 molecule per billion. Perhaps that's why rainy days feel so cozy. It's not just moisture, but a scent of renewal that makes us pause and breathe life deeply. Glass, contrary to popular belief, is not quite a solid body but a very slowly flowing substance. Its molecules move so slowly that over centuries, one can observe how old windows become thicker at the base. This is particularly noticeable in ancient cathedrals and castles. Scientists refer to glass as a supercooled liquid. It solidifies without forming crystals, yet it doesn't stop creeping. Of course, the process is incredibly slow, just a millimeter over thousands of years. This fact adds a touch of romance to old buildings. Their windows seem to tell the story of how time itself has flowed down them, leaving marks of the ages. Here's a strange fact about sleep. Dreams during a short daytime nap are often more vivid than at night. This is because the brain quickly enters the REM phase, the one where we dream. In just 15 minutes, you can experience an entire story. A flight, an adventure, or a meeting with someone from the past. Scientists say the brain uses daydreams as a quick reset to shed excess emotions. So, if anyone tells you that napping during the day is lazy, remember, your brain is just traveling light. Octopuses are true artists of the ocean, earning the nickname decorators of the sea. They love to adorn their homes with shells, stones, and pieces of coral. Scientists have observed how an octopus collects items to make its den cozy or camouflaged. Sometimes it even uses coconut halves, stacking them like a shield. This behavior demonstrates a high level of intelligence. An octopus doesn't just instinctively dig a burrow, it consciously chooses its design. It seems that if there were a competition for interior design in the ocean, this 8-armed architect would surely take first place. Bees can talk through dance. When a bee finds a nectar source, it returns to the hive and performs a special waggle dance. The direction indicates where to find the flowers, and the speed of movement shows the distance. Other bees pick up this signal and fly straight to the target. Essentially, it's a wordless language created millions of years ago. Scientists call it the waggle dance. Imagine if humans could share GPS coordinates just by wiggling their hips. The world would be a lot more fun. You've probably noticed that cats always land on their feet. But how do they do it? They have an innate vestibular acrobat, an inner ear that instantly determines which way is up and which way is down. If you drop a cat from a small height, it will twist in midair, arch its back, extend its legs, and land softly, like a fluffy parachutist. This instinct develops by the 6th week of life. Scientists even refer to it as the cat rule. So yes, their 9 lives aren't just a coincidence. Each paw knows where to land. Mauna Kea volcano in Hawaii is a true giant, though we don't see it in its entirety. It rises just 4,000 meters above sea level, but another 6,000 meters lie hidden underwater. When measured from its base to its summit, it is taller than Everest. This dormant volcano is adorned with observatories and telescopes, benefiting from an extraordinarily clear sky. Scientists joke that Mauna Kea connects Earth and space, as its peak nearly touches the stars. Imagine a mountain with roots in the ocean, and a summit reaching for the sky, like a bridge between two worlds. The eagle in philosophy is not just a bird, but a symbol of strength of spirit and lofty thought. Since ancient times, its image has inspired sages and poets, as the eagle sees further than others, soaring above the ground while maintaining clarity of vision and determination. Its sharp eyesight has become a metaphor for the mind, capable of discerning truth amidst the fog of delusions. In ancient treatises, the eagle represented the power of thought and the ability to shape one's destiny. Even today, it is depicted on the coats of arms and emblems of universities, as a reminder that one should strive to think high, but act wisely. There is a bit of that eagle's flight in each of us. One of the most touching wonders is the tree that cries. On the island of Rhodes in Greece, there grows a mastic tree. When its bark is cut, a transparent resin oozes out, forming droplets that resemble tears. These are collected by hand, and this crying is transformed into a rare fragrance, medicines, and sweets. Locals say that the tree doesn't weep out of pain, but out of joy for being able to share itself. Indeed, its tears smell of freshness and the sea. Sometimes, even plants remind us that in every breath of nature, there is a touch of human emotion. Have you ever wondered why a candle flame dances when someone speaks? It's all about sound. The air vibrations from our voice affect the flame, causing it to tremble and bend. In laboratories, they even conduct experiments where music controls fire. The louder the sound, the stronger the vibrations. Some engineers create entire fire orchestras, where the flames dance to the rhythm of melodies. It becomes a living performance, where fire and sound become partners. So there you are, sitting by a candle, listening to music, and suddenly you realize, even fire can dance when there's a song nearby. Dragonflies have 6 legs, but they can't walk. It sounds illogical, doesn't it? These graceful creatures seem designed not for the ground, but for the sky. Their legs are too short and positioned in a way that makes walking awkward. However, they are perfectly adapted for hunting. A dragonfly uses its legs like a net to catch prey right in midair. Imagine, it flies, spreads its legs like a basket, and snatches a mosquito on the wing. Its reaction is lightning fast, and its vision covers almost 360 degrees. For a dragonfly, life is an endless flight, with no time to stop on the ground. Fungi are actually closer to animals than to plants, which challenges our conventional understanding of nature. They lack chlorophyll, so they cannot produce food from light like plants do. Instead, fungi absorb nutrients from organic remains, almost like animals. Scientists have discovered that their DNA is surprisingly similar to that of animals, and the common ancestor of fungi and animals lived over 1 billion years ago. This is why fungi are so alive and sensitive to their environment. They play a crucial role in the ecosystem by decomposing dead matter and returning elements to the cycle of life. Without them, the earth would quickly become overwhelmed with layers of waste and leaves. You may have noticed that birds start singing louder before it rains. This isn't poetry, it's physics. Before a storm, the pressure drops, the air becomes denser, and sound travels better. Birds sense the changes in the weather and take the opportunity to sing out. Additionally, insects fly lower before rain, which means it's time to hunt. So when you hear a chorus of birds in the air, it's not just a song, it's a natural forecast. Listen closely next time. Your personal meteorologist might just be a sparrow. Did you know that coffee is not just a beverage, but also one of the most valuable currencies in history? In Africa, where coffee culture began, beans were once used as money. Later, in the Ottoman Empire, coffee was so expensive that women had the right to file for divorce if their husbands didn't provide them with a daily cup. In Europe, this drink was referred to as black gold and was considered a remedy for melancholy. Today, coffee is simply part of the morning routine, but behind every cup lies a story of passion, trade, and inspiration. You could say it does more than wake us up. It connects us to the whole world. In hot deserts, skyscrapers are built tall not just for beauty, but for coolness as well. The higher the building, the lower the temperature on the upper floors, where the wind cools the air. Additionally, tall towers create shade, reducing the heat on the streets. In the United Arab Emirates, architects wisely utilize this effect. Each tower becomes part of a natural air conditioning system for the city. This is a great example of how modern engineering has harmonized with the climate. In a world where heat is becoming a problem, such buildings are not a luxury, but a necessity. Beneath Turkey lies the remarkable city of Derinkuyu, capable of sheltering up to 20,000 people. Carved directly into the rock, it extends dozens of meters underground. It has everything: wells, ventilation shafts, wine cellars, and even schools. This underground labyrinth served as a refuge during times of war and invasion. People lived there for weeks until the danger passed. Narrow tunnels, sealed with stone doors, made the city impregnable. Scholars still do not fully know who built it first. Derinkuyu stands as a reminder that when the world above is dangerous, humanity always finds a way to hide light underground. There is a lake on Earth where the water boils without fire. It's called Boiling Lake and is located in Dominica. The water constantly bubbles, with temperatures at the edge reaching around 90 degrees. This is due to volcanic activity beneath the surface. Hot steam escapes through cracks, heating the water to a state of perpetual boiling. The lake is hidden in a tropical forest and looks like a giant cauldron where the planet itself cooks clouds. Tourists can only approach at a safe distance. One careless move and you could end up in a soup of geology and adrenaline. Now, let's talk a bit about the romance of the night sky. You've probably seen shooting stars, but in reality, they aren't stars at all. They are tiny particles of cosmic dust burning up in the atmosphere. They enter at speeds of up to 70 kilometers per second and flash for a moment. Millions of these particles fall every day, but we only notice the brightest ones. Yet, every time you make a wish, look up at the sky and remember, what you see is the trail of a star that was born billions of years ago. Perhaps at that moment, the universe is truly listening, just quietly, in its own way. In Tibet, there is a remarkable tradition where monks dry wet sheets on themselves during freezing nights. This is a test of both spirit and body. They sit motionless in the snow, immersed in meditation, warming the fabric with their breath until it dries. This technique is called Tamo, the art of inner heat. Scientists have studied this phenomenon and confirmed that the monk's body temperature actually rises. It serves as a reminder that humans can control themselves on a much deeper level than we tend to believe. Perhaps within each of us lies a small source of fire. Giraffes have an amazing feature. Their tongue is nearly half a meter long and colored dark blue or even black. This unusual shade is not just a quirk of nature, but a real protection against the sun. Giraffes spend many hours a day eating leaves from tall trees, with their tongues exposed to the scorching rays. The dark pigment acts like a natural sunscreen, preventing burns. Additionally, a giraffe's tongue is incredibly sticky and flexible, allowing it to grasp even thorny acacia branches. Nature clearly knew what it was doing when it created the perfect tool for life at great heights. The Great Barrier Reef is not just an underwater location, but a living organism stretching over 2,000 kilometers. It is made up of billions of tiny polyps that create corals and can even be seen from space. Thousands of species of fish, starfish, and turtles inhabit this true underwater metropolis. The reef cleans the ocean water, regulates the ecosystem, and protects the shores of Australia. However, it is currently suffering from warming and pollution, causing the corals to lose their color. Bleach. Scientists around the world are fighting for its preservation, as losing the reef would be like losing the heart of the ocean. In Argentina, there is indeed a river that burns. It's called quirky, and from time to time flames erupt above its surface. This is not a mystery, but a natural phenomenon. Gases rich in methane rise from the riverbed, and when they come into contact with air, spontaneous ignitions occur. From a distance, it looks as if the water itself is on fire. Locals refer to it as the River of Spirits and share ancient legends about underground gods guarding the land. Scientists, on the other hand, see it as a warning from nature. Constant methane emissions could indicate impending tectonic changes. Beautiful, dangerous, and mesmerizing. If you wanted to become a true superhero, a cockroach would be a perfect fit. These insects can live without their heads for up to a week. It all comes down to their open circulatory system. They breathe through openings in their bodies rather than through their mouths. They only need their heads for eating. But even without them, their bodies can function autonomously for a while. Of course, in time, the cockroach dies of thirst. But the fact remains, their survival rate is almost comic book worthy. Scientists joke that cockroaches will survive even an apocalypse. And honestly, looking at their resilience, it's easy to believe that. Ice is not just what we see in a glass or on a winter street. There are over 17 different types. It all depends on temperature and pressure. Under extreme conditions, water molecules arrange themselves into various crystalline structures. There's ice that resembles sugar cubes, dense ice like metal, and even amorphous ice, lacking a clear structure. This type of ice can be found on the ocean floor and on distant planetary moons. Scientists study it to understand how worlds form in the universe. It's amusing to think that what we consider a simple frozen substance is actually a whole gallery of shapes and patterns. In ancient Greece, people believed that the rainbow was not just a beautiful phenomenon, but a road along which the goddess Iris descended from the heavens to earth. She was seen as a messenger between the gods and humans, and each rainbow was her trail. When colors appeared in the sky, the Greeks would say, "Iris brings a message." Since then, the rainbow has symbolized connection, hope, and peace. Perhaps it's no coincidence that we smile when we see it. Deep down, the ancient person within us still awaits good news from above. Imagine a tree that glows in the dark like a lamp. Such a thing actually exists. It's called a bioluminescent tree. Scientists have managed to combine the genes of glowing fungi with plant DNA, and now some saplings emit a soft green light at night. While this is still an experiment, the idea is simple: to create natural lanterns that could illuminate streets without electricity. Perhaps in the future, cities will shine not with neon, but with living trees whispering in the wind. Nature and science have once again come together to bring light to the world, literally from within the leaves. Messages in bottles can drift across the seas for decades, becoming messengers from the past. When someone tosses a bottle into the ocean, it can float for years before reaching the other shore. The longest journey of such a message lasted about 133 years. Amazing, isn't it? During that time, the bottle traveled thousands of kilometers and ended up on the other side of the world. People have always been drawn to this romance, sending a letter into the ocean, not knowing who will read it. In the age of the internet, this form of communication feels like a magical reminder of a time when patience and chance created the most incredible stories. The platypus is one of the strangest creatures on the planet. It has a bill like a duck, a tail like a beaver, and venomous spurs on its legs. Yes, male platypuses are indeed venomous, and their sting can cause intense pain. This Australian animal seems to be made from pieces of different animals, but nature knew what it was doing. It lays eggs, feeds its young with milk without nipples, and hunts with its eyes closed, using electromagnetic fields to sense its prey. The platypus is living proof that evolution has a sense of humor, creating ingenious and unique forms of life. Antarctica is the largest desert on Earth, even though it is entirely covered in ice. Paradoxically, it receives less precipitation than the Sahara. The air is too cold to hold moisture, resulting in an almost perpetual dryness instead of rain or snowfall. In some areas, no snowflake has fallen for millions of years. Despite the harsh conditions, life manages to emerge. Microbes and lichens survive in the cracks of rocks, using sunlight and traces of moisture. Antarctica serves as a reminder that a desert is not just sand, but also endless ice, where silence speaks louder than words. The name Coca-Cola originated from two ingredients, coca leaves and cola nuts. In the late 19th century, pharmacist John Pemberton created the drink as a tonic for fatigue. At that time, the recipe included natural coca extract, which was later replaced with a harmless flavoring. The drink quickly became a symbol of energy, youth, and the American way of life. The logo, designed by Pemberton's bookkeeper, has hardly changed in 100 years, a rare example of a brand that has survived through the ages. Coca-Cola has long transformed from a beverage into a cultural phenomenon, recognizable even in places without electricity. When you eat honey, know that you're tasting not just sweetness, but a piece of eternity. Honey is the only food that never spoils. Archaeologists have found jars of honey in Egyptian pyramids over 3,000 years old, and it was still edible. The secret lies in its composition: low water content, high sugar levels, and natural acids that prevent bacteria from surviving. Bees are true alchemists, transforming nectar into liquid gold. So, a spoonful of honey in your tea is not just delicious, it's a sip of history that has survived pharaohs and will endure for our grandchildren. The illusion of the endless chocolate bar is one of the internet's favorite tricks. It seems like you can cut the chocolate into pieces and arrange them in such a way that one piece remains extra, while the bar itself doesn't get smaller. In reality, it's just a clever geometric play on perception. A tiny difference of fractions of a millimeter tricks our brain into thinking the chocolate bar is infinite. Of course, you can't create a truly eternal treat like that, but the idea itself is heartwarming. This trick serves as a reminder that sometimes wonders are born not from magic, but from precise mathematics and a love for sweets. It would be wonderful if it actually worked. Big Ben is actually not a tower, as many believe, but the bell inside it. Its real name is the Great Bell of Westminster, and it is this bell that produces the famous chime recognized around the world. The tower itself is called Elizabeth Tower, and the bell weighs over 13 tons. When it tolls, its vibrations can be felt even on the ground beneath your feet. This chime has accompanied London for over a century, becoming a symbol of reliability and the rhythm of time. Interestingly, an entire city and millions of tourists refer not to the tower but to its heart, the ringing voice that reminds us every hour. Time is passing. Giraffes sleep very little. It's one of the most remarkable adaptations in the animal kingdom. On average, these giants spend just over an hour a day sleeping, dozing in short bursts of a few minutes. It's all about safety. Standing in the middle of the savannah, a giraffe can't afford to fall into a deep sleep, as lions could be nearby. Sometimes they even sleep standing up, slightly lowering their heads onto their backs. Scientists believe that giraffes compensate for their lack of sleep with a unique brain structure that quickly recovers during these brief rest periods. They have truly mastered the art of the 5-minute nap. If you love looking at the stars, know this. Some of them are not stars at all, but planets that simply reflect sunlight. Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, and Mars are often visible to the naked eye and have misled people for centuries. Venus is particularly bright. It has been called the morning star and the evening star, with people thinking they were two different objects. Only later did astronomers realize that it was the same planet. So, when you gaze at the evening sky, remember, not everything that shines generates its own light. Sometimes it just beautifully reflects someone else's. Imagine a flower that can shoot. Yes, it's not a fantasy. The plant Echinocystis launches its seeds with such force that they scatter several meters away. The mechanism works when water droplets hit the fruits. They swell and create pressure like a mini catapult. When the shell bursts, the seeds fly out at incredible speed. Nature is the best engineer, creating weapons of growth. A small green projectile flies, lands in the soil, and from it, new life emerges. It's amazing, but even plants sometimes win not by strength, but by precision. In Australia and Canada, paper money can be washed without worry. It's water resistant. This is because the banknotes are made from a special polymer rather than paper. This material is durable, long-lasting, and waterproof. Even if you forget a bill in your jeans and toss them in the wash, it will come out looking brand new. Additionally, these notes are difficult to counterfeit. They feature transparent windows, intricate patterns, and holograms. These plastic banknotes last longer, are cheaper to produce, and are even more environmentally friendly. In the future, paper money may become a rarity, while washable banknotes could become the norm. Being born exactly at midnight on January 1st is like winning a mini lottery of life. The odds of such an event are about 1 in 26,600, almost as likely as being struck by lightning. But sometimes fate plays beautifully. A new year means a new person. These babies become real stars, making headlines in newspapers, and their families receive congratulations from mayors and even presidents. Imagine celebrating your birthday while fireworks are booming all around the globe. It's not just a celebration, it's a true symbol of new beginnings, when the first cry of a baby coincides with the first chime of the clock in the new year. Once, several centuries ago, there was a strange way to treat toothache in Europe. People would place a live frog against their cheek. Yes, seriously. It was believed to draw out the pain. Another method involved wearing a tooth pulled from a wolf as an amulet. Medieval medicine was a mix of desperation and magic, but sometimes surprisingly accurate. The herbs used back then actually had pain-relieving properties, so even in ancient beliefs, you can find grains of real science, just wrapped in folklore and superstition. There are about 1,500 varieties of tea on our planet, each with its own character. From the robust, pu'er to the delicate jasmine, the flavor depends not only on the type of leaves, but also on the climate, altitude, and processing method. The Chinese refer to tea as liquid meditation, while the English call it a cup of tranquility. Wherever you are, tea remains a symbol of comfort and connection. Its aroma has the power to bring people together at the table, warming and inspiring them. It's no wonder that a cup of good tea is said to be a pause where happiness resides. When you look at a duck, the world seems calm. It glides smoothly across the water, seemingly without effort. But if you look beneath the surface, its legs are paddling furiously. This has become a metaphor for life. On the outside, we often appear composed, while inside we're working hard. Ducks are masters of hidden effort. Their legs, by the way, don't feel the cold because the blood vessels are intertwined in a special way, reducing heat loss. So even when the lake is frozen, the duck remains unruffled. It simply knows that the key is not to panic on the surface, but to keep working underwater. Scorpions glow in the dark, resembling a scene from a sci-fi movie. Under ultraviolet light, their exoskeleton shines with a soft green hue, as if coated in neon. Scientists are still unsure why nature endowed them with this trait, but they believe it serves as a form of protection. Perhaps scorpions use their glow to recognize each other or to avoid moonlight. Interestingly, even fossilized scorpions millions of years old still emit light. Nature seems to have left a piece of mystery within them, a reminder that even the most dangerous creatures can be beautiful in their own way. In Slavic mythology, there was a legend about the bird Gamayun, the messenger of wisdom. Her feathers shone like gold, and her voice was so beautiful that even the beasts would pause to listen. Gamayun knew everything, the past, the present, and the future, but she shared her knowledge only with those who listened with their hearts. It was said that if you heard her song in a dream, fate would reveal a sign to you. She symbolized enlightenment, inspiration, and inner peace. Today, when we speak of intuition, we are essentially calling upon that very Gamayun, just in modern terms. The first alarm clock in the world was quite a temperamental device. It could only ring at one time, precisely at 4 in the morning. It was invented by American clockmaker Levi Hutchins in the late 18th century. The alarm served solely the master himself, to ensure he wouldn't oversleep and miss the start of his workday. It was impossible to set it for another time. The mechanics allowed it to go off only at that fixed moment. It wasn't until nearly 100 years later that adjustable alarm clocks were introduced. Interestingly, the idea born from a simple desire not to be late for work ultimately changed the lives of millions and taught us to combat the morning just 5 more minutes. In northern Norway and Iceland, there are people who experience 2 months without sunlight, a true polar night. But you know what's surprising? Many of them don't fall into despair. Instead, they embrace this time. They call it koselig, a special state of coziness. During this period, they light candles, read books, drink hot chocolate, and enjoy the tranquility. Scientists have found that it all comes down to perspective. If you see darkness not as cold, but as an opportunity to rest, your body responds positively. It turns out that happiness doesn't depend on the sun, but on how you view the darkness. Elephants are the true empaths of the animal kingdom. They cry when a companion dies and even return to the bones of the deceased, touching them with their trunks. Their emotions are more complex than we thought. In zoos, elephants have been observed comforting each other, entwining their trunks or standing silently side by side. Their memory is legendary, not just because of their intelligence, but because it is infused with feelings. An elephant can recognize the scent of a friend after many years. They are like the wise elders of nature, who understand the value of each day and every step. Looking into their eyes, you realize that kindness truly has no form. It simply exists. Lightning often strikes the same place repeatedly, and this is no coincidence. There are several regions on the planet where thunderstorms occur almost daily. For example, over Lake Victoria in Africa, lightning flashes hundreds of times a year. This is due to a combination of humid air and constant rising heat currents. Electrical discharges tend to choose locations with good conductivity, mountain peaks, metal structures, or simply areas of high moisture in the ground. Therefore, the saying lightning doesn't strike twice is just a nice metaphor. Nature is quite capable of repeating itself, and not just once. People love to talk about themselves, and this is not just an observation, it's a scientific fact. Research shows that in a typical conversation, a person spends about 60% of the time talking about themselves, and this figure jumps to 80% on social media. We share stories, opinions, and funny incidents as if weaving ourselves into the conversation to be understood and heard. This isn't selfishness, it's a natural human need, a desire for connection and recognition. When we talk about ourselves, the brain releases dopamine, the pleasure hormone. That's why conversations where we are listened to with interest feel so warm. Blinking is one of the fastest and most unnoticed movements of our body, but it hides real magic. Each blink lasts about 0.3 of a second, and a person does it roughly 20,000 times a day. While we blink, our eyes are moisturized, cleaned of dust, and our brains get a brief moment of rest. Scientists have even found that people blink in sync during conversations, as if their bodies are adjusting to one another. So, blinking is not just a reflex. It's a subtle way for the body to take care of itself. Our eyes literally breathe with each blink. The King of Sweden, while wearing a crown, does not hold political power. His role is symbolic. He opens parliament, presents awards, represents the country at ceremonies, and embodies its unity. Modern Swedes view the monarchy with ease, as a beautiful tradition rather than a source of authority. Interestingly, the king rides a bicycle and tries to be as ordinary as possible. He resembles a kind grandfather more than a ruler. This approach makes the monarchy vibrant and human, demonstrating how a crown can symbolize continuity rather than power. In Turkey, they are indeed building miniature palaces for homeless cats, and it looks delightful. Local craftsmen create tiny houses with domes, turrets, and patterned windows, resembling real palaces but sized for cats. These shelters are placed in parks and on streets so that the animals can hide from the cold and rain. Turkey is known for its love of cats, and in Istanbul they are everywhere, proud and well-groomed, as if they rule the city themselves. The cat palaces have become a symbol of kindness and respect for animals. It seems that in this place, every cat has its own little dream with a roof over it. Colorblind individuals see the world a bit differently, but that doesn't make their lives any less vibrant. Most people with this condition struggle with perceiving red and green hues. But the brain adapts. It paints the world in its own way. Some colorblind people notice details that escape the eyes of others because they are less distracted by color. For them, the world isn't gray, it's simply different, in a unique palette. Scientists are even developing glasses that help them see colors closer to the usual spectrum. This serves as a reminder that beauty lies not in shades, but in how we view the world. There is a fish that can live without water, and it's not a fairy tale. The climbing perch, found in Asia, can breathe atmospheric air and move on land using its fins like legs. It can crawl through grass or mud, searching for a new river or pond if the old one has dried up. Scientists admire its resilience. Species like this could have been the ancestors of terrestrial animals. The climbing perch may look unassuming, but its ability to endure heat and dryness makes it a true symbol of adaptation. It's an example of how life always finds a way to move forward, even on land. Wild bananas are nothing like the smooth fruits found in stores. Inside, they are filled with large seeds, making them nearly impossible to eat. They are tough and have very little flesh. Modern sweet bananas are the result of long-term cultivation, where people have crossbred several wild species to produce seedless fruit. Interestingly, such hybrids do not reproduce on their own in nature. Every banana you eat is a descendant of a plant that has been manually propagated. So this humble fruit is not just food, but a testament to the collaboration between humans and nature. Thanks to this partnership, breakfast has become sweeter. There are indeed roadmaps for astronauts on the moon. During the Apollo missions, NASA engineers left special marks, arrows, and lines on the surface to help astronauts navigate. Since there is no horizon in the usual sense on the moon and distances can be deceptive, it's easy to get lost among the craters. These markers help them return to the module and explore new areas. Some of them still lie there, untouched by time. The moon became the first place where humans left navigation signs, like an autograph on another world. It serves as a reminder that even in space, we need a map. Hippos sweat a red liquid that makes it look like they are covered in blood. In reality, this is not blood, but a special secretion that acts as a natural sunscreen and antiseptic. In the hot African climate, this sweating protects the animal's skin from overheating and microbes. Scientists refer to this liquid as blood sweat due to its color, but it contains not a drop of blood. Interestingly, the sweat shines in the sun, giving the hippo a sinister yet captivating appearance. It's as if nature has provided them with their own sunscreen built right into their skin. The brain of a cat is remarkably similar to that of a human, about 90% alike. We have a similar structure in the cerebral cortex, which is responsible for emotions, memory, and even dreams. Perhaps that's why cats seem so understanding. They can sense our moods, recognize our voices, and even anticipate our actions. When a cat looks at you thoughtfully, it is genuinely analyzing what's happening, like a little philosopher on four paws. Scientists are convinced that cats are much smarter than we tend to think. They simply don't need praise. They already know who's in charge. If you thought plants were silent, you're mistaken. They talk, just not with words. Scientists have discovered that through their roots, plants transmit chemical signals to their neighbors, warning of danger, calling for help, or sharing nutrients. This underground internet is called the Wood Wide Web. Fungi act as conduits, connecting trees into a whole ecosystem where everyone senses each other. So, while walking through the forest, know that a quiet conversation is happening around you, one that has lasted for millions of years. And perhaps the trees know more about you than you know about them. In Japan, there is a legend about the tsuru, the paper crane. It is believed that if you fold 1,000 cranes, your deepest wish will come true. The story emerged after the war, when a girl named Sadako began folding cranes, hoping to recover. She didn't manage to finish 1,000, but her story spread around the world, becoming a symbol of peace and hope. Now, paper cranes adorn temples, schools, and hospitals, reminding us that even a simple movement of the hands can become a prayer. Sometimes faith is indeed made of paper, but it holds stronger than stone. The term honeymoon didn't come about by chance. It has its roots in ancient Babylon. After the wedding, the bride's father would gift the newlyweds a month's supply of honey and mead to ensure their union was sweet and fruitful. Since then, the first 30 days of marriage have been called the honeymoon, a time of love, peace, and enjoyment. Over time, this tradition spread worldwide, evolving into a symbol of romantic getaways for newlyweds. Today, couples travel for their honeymoons, but the essence remains the same: to savor the beginning of their new life together. It's amusing how this ancient drink has become a metaphor for happiness that has endured for thousands of years. The longest earthquake in history lasted a full 10 minutes, an incredible ordeal for the planet. It happened in 1960 in Chile. The underground tremors were so powerful that they altered the coastline, triggered massive tsunamis, and were even felt on another continent. The waves reached Japan, and the Earth slightly changed its rotation speed. Imagine 10 minutes of the planet shaking. This event became the largest in recorded history and helped scientists better understand how tectonic plates move. Since then, Chileans have learned to live with a constant reminder beneath their feet that the power of the Earth is immense and demands respect. Cockroaches are known for their resilience, and the myth that they could survive a nuclear explosion didn't arise out of nowhere. These insects can indeed withstand radiation levels several times higher than the lethal dose for humans. This is due to their slow cell division and simple body structure. However, contrary to the legends, they wouldn't survive a real nuclear blast either. The temperatures are just too high. Still, their endurance is remarkable. They can live for several days without a head. So while a cockroach may not be immortal, it certainly deserves its reputation as the most stubborn inhabitant of the earth. Laughter is not just joy, it's also a beneficial workout for the heart. When we laugh, our blood vessels expand, blood circulates faster, and stress literally melts away. Scientists have proven that 10 minutes of genuine laughter can lower blood pressure and improve heart function. It's a kind of free therapy that you can give yourself at any moment. So when someone shares a funny story, the body perceives it as a gift. Therefore, laughter is not just fun, it's a biological magic that can extend life. It's no coincidence that they say a good mood is the best prevention against all illnesses. Imagine snow that isn't white, but pink. This wonder can be found in the mountains of Antarctica and the Alps. It's called watermelon snow. It actually smells fruity and has a delicate pink hue. This is due to microscopic algae, Chlamydomonas nivalis, living right within the snow crystals. They color the snow, creating the effect of mountains dusted with strawberry ice. But don't be fooled, this snow is not edible. It can cause an upset stomach. It's as if nature decided to play a joke and sprinkle a bit of summer into the cold peaks. You may have noticed that crows seem to understand us. This is no coincidence. Their intelligence is comparable to that of a 7-year-old child. Crows can solve problems, use tools, and even plan for the future. Once, scientists observed a crow dropping nuts on the road. It waited for cars to crush them and then calmly picked up the kernels. They can also recognize people by their faces and hold grudges for years. So, if you ever decide to play a prank on a crow, be prepared. It won't forget, but it might forgive you if you bring it some cookies. In Japan, buildings are made of paper. It sounds crazy, but it's a modern technology. Architects use recycled paper reinforced with special resins to create temporary pavilions, exhibition halls, and even schools. This material is lightweight, warm, and eco-friendly, and it is also resistant to moisture and fire due to special treatment. One well-known Japanese architect built an entire pavilion from paper tubes, and it stood for years. These projects prove that even a fragile material can become a symbol of sustainability and environmental care. This is the essence of Japan, where beauty and practicality meet in the most unexpected forms. The elephant's trunk is a true marvel of biomechanics, made up of about 40,000 muscles. It has no bones, yet it is so flexible and strong that it can lift a log or pick up a coin. Elephants use their trunks as a hand, nose, and trumpet all at once. They breathe, drink, greet, and even hug with it. For calves, the trunk resembles a playful toy that they learn to control over months. Scientists continue to be amazed by this organ, an ideal combination of strength and precision. The elephant proves that even in a massive body there can be remarkable grace. Cat purring is not just an expression of pleasure, but also a means of self-healing. When a cat purrs at a frequency of around 25 Hz, its body literally heals itself. These vibrations stimulate the regeneration of bones and tissues, aid in healing, and even reduce stress. That's why cats purr not only when they're happy, but also when they're sick or injured. Scientists refer to this as natural physiotherapy, while pet owners call it the magic of furry friends. So when your pet is comfortably purring in your lap, it's not just content, it's healing itself and perhaps a little bit of you too. Donkeys know how to truly befriend. When they spend enough time together, a strong emotional bond develops between them, almost like that of humans. When one of the pair is taken away, the other may become sad, refuse to eat, and loudly call for their friend with their famous bray. Zoos and farms even try not to separate such couples. What's even more interesting is that donkeys are great at sensing human emotions. If you're calm, they'll approach. If you're tense, they'll keep their distance. They act like living emotion detectors. And although a donkey may seem simple, it embodies a remarkable combination of strength, intelligence, and gentleness. It's no wonder that people say if a donkey trusts you, you must be a good person. Sometimes icebergs are striped, like giant icy watermelons. Their colorful layers form due to the way ice develops. Green stripes come from algae, blue from dense old ice, and yellow and brown from iron and sand impurities. When the sun illuminates these icy sculptures, they shimmer in all the shades of the rainbow, turning into true masterpieces of nature. Scientists believe that the color and structure of icebergs help study the climate of the past, as if the ice holds the Earth's history within its layers. It serves as a reminder that even cold can be beautiful. Every cat has a unique nose print, just like humans have fingerprints. If you take a closer look at a cat's nose, you can see tiny folds and dots. Their combination is one of a kind. even twins have different patterns. Scientists joke that if cats ever broke the law, we could create cat databases. In reality, this feature helps veterinarians identify animals, while owners can admire how unique their pets are. It's amazing that even such a tiny organ carries a whole passport of character and individuality. The world of cats is truly full of small but remarkable mysteries. If plants could count, bamboo would definitely be the speed champion. Some species grow up to 91 centimeters in just one day. You can literally watch it stretch upwards. This record is achieved thanks to a unique cell structure. They don't divide but simply stretch rapidly, like balloons. In China, bamboo symbolizes resilience and growth, as it grows straight, flexibly, and doesn't break even in the wind. Indeed, looking at it, you realize that the key is not to rush. Just grow at your own pace, and soon you'll find yourself taller than you thought yesterday. Now a bit about you, or rather, about your body. There are more bacteria living in our bodies than our own cells. And most of them are beneficial allies. They help digest food, strengthen the immune system, and even influence our mood, as the gut is connected to the brain through the nervous system. Scientists refer to this as the second brain. When we eat well, these microscopic residents thrive and make us feel more energetic. So, you could say that inside each of us is a tiny universe, and we are its cosmos. Take care of it, and it will surely take care of you in return. The smallest horse in the world, named Thumbelina, looks like a character from a fairy tale. She stands just 43 centimeters tall and weighs less than 20 kilograms, roughly the size of a large dog. Born in the USA, she immediately captured people's hearts with her tiny grace. Despite her miniature size, Thumbelina is a true horse, stubborn, curious, and loves attention. Her owners even created a charity foundation through which she visits children's hospitals, bringing joy to the kids. Small but with a huge heart, Thumbelina has proven that greatness comes not from size, but from kindness. Now let's talk about the tongue, the one in your mouth. It's the only muscle in the body that is attached on just one side. It never gets tired, as it works even while we sleep, helping with swallowing and supporting breathing. Each person's tongue print is unique, just like fingerprints. Scientists are even developing technologies for identifying individuals based on their tongue print. It's amusing that the organ we use to taste food and chat endlessly also holds our individuality. So the phrase, "find your tongue," can be taken literally. Everyone has their own one-of-a-kind tongue. In India, the world's longest shoe has been created, measuring 6.5 meters. Made from leather and fabric, it perfectly replicates the shape of a real shoe, only scaled up many times. This giant boot has made it into the Guinness World Records and has become a symbol of Indian craftsmanship. Tourists come to see it as if it were a work of art. The idea started as a joke but turned into a source of pride for the city. After all, sometimes it's these crazy ideas that inspire people to dream bigger, literally several meters bigger. It sounds sad, but wind turbines kill thousands of birds each year. The turbines, which are so beneficial for the environment, become traps for the feathered creatures. Birds collide with the blades during migration, often without noticing them. In the UK alone, between 10 and 100,000 birds fall victim each year. On the other hand, cars and cats kill many more. Scientists are already looking for solutions. For example, painting the blades black or using radars to slow down the turbines when a flock approaches. So, green energy is always a balance between benefiting the planet and caring for its inhabitants. Now, let's add a touch of romance with a scientific twist. When people look into each other's eyes for more than 8 seconds, their brains start producing oxytocin, the so-called trust hormone. This prolonged gaze can evoke feelings of warmth, closeness, and even a slight thrill. It's no wonder that lovers can gaze at each other for hours without saying a word. Scientists say that eyes are not just the windows to the soul, but a biological key to human trust. So, if you want to convey something important to someone, just hold their gaze a little longer. Sometimes a look speaks louder than words. There is a remarkable flower that smells like chocolate, known as chocolate cosmos. This dark burgundy beauty hails from Central America, and its scent can drive any sweet tooth wild. The flower is so rare that it has nearly disappeared in the wild, but gardeners around the world cultivate it in their collections. Its fragrance is not overpowering, but soft, with hints of cocoa and vanilla. It seems nature decided to play a joke, creating a flower that exudes warmth and comfort. Chocolate cosmos proves that beauty and flavor can coexist even in petals. In the Norwegian town of Røros, houses stand on stilts, making it resemble a living illustration from a fairy tale. This ancient mining village is nestled in the mountains, where the ground alternates between freezing and thawing, prompting people to build their homes on wooden pillars to prevent destruction. Now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the town has become a true open-air museum. Narrow streets, wooden facades, and chimneys emitting smoke create a sense that time has stood still. Røros serves as a reminder that even in a cold climate, one can live beautifully and comfortably, if built with soul. Canada has more lakes than the rest of the world combined. It sounds like an exaggeration, but it's true. The country is dotted with over 3 million lakes, ranging from tiny ponds to giants like Lake Superior and Lake Huron. Viewed from space, Canada appears as a land reflecting the sky. Lakes cover almost 1/10 of its territory, providing fresh water to millions. Here, one can lose themselves for days wandering along shores where not a soul is in sight. In these vast waters, the soul of the country is mirrored, calm, deep, and endless, like the northern horizon. Being born on February 29th means coming into the world on a day that occurs only once every 4 years. The odds of such an event are about 1 in 1,461. Making leap year children true rarities. They are teased as eternal youths since their official birthday only happens every 4 years. Of course, in practice, they celebrate either on February 28th or March 1st, but they still feel special. This rare day seems made for those who transcend the ordinary flow of time. It's as if the world is saying, you were born when time itself took a pause. The difference between the birth of twins can sometimes reach truly astonishing lengths, up to 87 days. This happens when one child is born prematurely while the other remains in the womb to grow and gain strength. Medical professionals conduct meticulous monitoring to ensure the survival of both. These stories resemble miracles. Two babies separated by weeks, yet forever connected by an invisible thread. As they grow up, they joke that the older one is already experienced compared to the younger. Nature sometimes writes the most touching scripts, where time itself moves in favor of life. In ancient Egypt, people believed that the heart was not just an organ, but the throne of the soul. After death, the god Anubis would weigh the deceased's heart on the scales of truth, comparing it to the feather of the goddess Mat. If the heart was lighter than the feather, the person had lived righteously and would attain eternal life. If it was heavier, their soul would vanish forever. This is why Egyptians did not remove the heart during mummification. It was more important than all the other organs. Perhaps there is a lesson for us in this. After all, what truly matters is measured by the heart, not by words. Have you ever wondered why sparrows don't fall off branches when they sleep? It's simple and brilliant. They have a lock in their feet. When a bird lands, the tendons in its legs automatically tighten, and its toes grip the branch securely. To release their grip, they need to straighten their legs. But when they're asleep, those legs are bent. This allows a sparrow to nap peacefully, even upside down. Nature seems to have given them a built-in carabiner to prevent them from falling at the sweetest moment. Sleeping on a branch isn't a miracle, it's engineering from evolution itself. Birds can talk, and this is not a myth but a marvel of nature and memory. Many species of parrots are capable of mimicking human speech with astonishing accuracy, although they don't understand the meaning of the words. They simply memorize sounds, rhythms, and even intonations, repeating what they hear. Some feathered polyglots know dozens of phrases and can even sing melodies. Imagine coming home to be greeted by your feathered neighbor with, "How are you?" or humming your favorite song. Scientists believe that parrots do this because of their developed social nature. After all, in a flock, they constantly communicate through sounds, and human speech is just a new music of communication for them. In the Sahara, where it seems there is nothing but sand, live small foxes with huge ears, fennecs. Their ears, nearly 15 centimeters long, help them not only hear but also cool down. Blood flows through them, releasing excess heat into the air. This allows the fennec to avoid overheating even under the blazing sun. At night, when the desert cools, it curls up and hides its nose under its tail to retain warmth. This little creature embodies how nature turns vulnerability into strength. Small but with ears like radar, the fennec hears everything, even the breath of the wind. In Africa, there is indeed a white giraffe, a rare creature that seems to have stepped out of a fairy tale. Its unusual color is due to leucism, a genetic condition where the skin loses pigment while the eyes remain dark. This giraffe appears like a ghost among the savannah, drawing the attention of everyone who sees it. To protect it from poachers, scientists have even equipped the animal with a GPS tracker. The white giraffe has become a symbol of nature's fragility and a reminder that rarity is not a flaw, but a wonder. It is referred to as a living treasure of Africa, as such beings are nearly extinct on the planet. When you look at the clouds, they may seem light as cotton, but a typical cumulus cloud weighs about 500 tons. That's roughly the weight of 100 elephants. It stays in the air because the water in it is in the form of tiny droplets, evenly distributed across a vast volume. Imagine, the sky carries entire mountains of water every day while looking so calm. There's something poetic about it. Even heavy things can be carried easily if they are evenly distributed. And perhaps life works the same way. The spots on a giraffe's skin are as unique as human fingerprints. No two giraffes in the world have exactly the same pattern, and it's these spots that allow scientists to distinguish between individuals. But their function is not just decorative. Beneath each spot are special vessels that help regulate body temperature. When it's hot, the blood in these areas cools down more quickly. Additionally, the patterns help giraffes recognize each other, like a natural passport. In the savannah, where everything seems uniform, these patterns turn each giraffe into a living work of art created by nature itself. If you fold a regular sheet of paper 42 times, its thickness would reach the moon. Incredible, but mathematically true. With each fold, the thickness doubles, and after just 20 folds, the sheet would be taller than a skyscraper. Of course, in reality, this is impossible. The paper is too dense and would break long before achieving such results. But the idea itself illustrates the power of geometric progression. It serves as a reminder that small steps, repeated many times, can lead to enormous outcomes. Here's a vivid example of how math turns into magic. Italy is a true treasure trove of humanity, boasting the highest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites, 58 in total. From the ancient Colosseum to the shimmering canals of Venice, from the Alpine Dolomites to the Amalfi Coast, every corner of the country breathes history. Here, ancient ruins coexist with Renaissance masterpieces and modern architectural wonders. A stroll through Italy feels like a journey through time. In a single day, one can traverse from Caesar's Rome to Michelangelo's galleries. It's no wonder that Italy is regarded as a museum under the sky, where every stone holds a secret of the past and beckons you to return. When you look at a rainbow, it seems like there's only one, but in reality, each has a secret sister, a second pale, inverted rainbow. It's just that it's almost invisible. This phenomenon is called a double rainbow. The first appears when sunlight reflects inside water droplets once, while the second occurs when it reflects twice. Because of this, the colors are arranged in reverse order, and a dark zone forms between the arcs, the Alexander's band. For centuries, people have regarded it as a magical sign, while scientists see it as proof that even a simple raindrop can be an artist. Nature isn't afraid to repeat itself. It simply adds a second layer of beauty. The term Internet first appeared in 1974 when scientists described a system that connected different computer networks. At that time, no one could have imagined that this invention would change everything: communication, work, education, and even love. The first users exchanged simple texts, and now we make video calls, stream, and live online almost around the clock. It's amusing that the word Internet originated in a scientific article, yet it has now become an integral part of our language. It symbolizes the connection between people, cities, and entire continents, a digital web where everyone can be heard. Beneath Amsterdam lies an entire network of ancient sewers built in the 16th century. Back then, the Dutch devised a drainage system to dry out marshy lands and make the city livable. These tunnels and pipes still serve as the foundation of the metropolis, preventing it from flooding. The engineers of that time literally tamed water, making it flow according to their rules. Some sections of the old sewer system are now open for tours. Visitors descend underground to see how Amsterdam stands on watery bones. It's like the city's underground heart, pumping not blood but water for centuries. The Arctic tern is a champion among travelers. Every year, this small bird flies from the North Pole to the South Pole and back, almost 70,000 kilometers. It seems to live in eternal summer, following the sun, as it spends the warm season in each hemisphere. Its route is the longest migration journey on Earth. Scientists track these birds using miniature sensors and are amazed by their accuracy. Terns return to the same spot after years. Their flight is a symbol of perseverance and freedom, proof that even small creatures can achieve great feats. We tend to think of miracles as something distant, found in movies, legends, or at the edge of the universe. But in reality, they are close by, in a raindrop, in the movement of a cat's tail, in the rustle of leaves, in the way light refracts through glass. Every fact we discuss is a reminder that the world is alive, strange, and beautiful. Which one resonated with you the most? What surprised you, made you smile, or prompted you to think? Share in the comments. I'm genuinely curious about what your personal discovery was today. And don't forget to subscribe because there are hundreds more stories ahead that will prove miracles are not rare. It's just that not everyone knows how to notice them.